Hey there, welcome to the video. Today I'm going to be showing you 4 KDP niche ideas that you need to start on before Q4 rolls in. And if you do, you're just going to be setting yourself up for KDP success. Now, these niche ideas came from the last video that I did where I showed you how to create these word search puzzle books from scratch using only free tools and resources. So in this video, I figured I'll be going through 4 word search niche ideas that you can be taking advantage of this summer to reap in the rewards during our busiest time of the year, which is always the last 3 to 4 months of the year. So if you're a beginner looking to make an income online and start a side hustle, or you're just looking to get into new niche ideas, well then this video is for you. But before that, hey guys, my name is Jeff and this channel is all about becoming self-sufficient when it comes to making money online. And right now we're talking about low and medium content publishing on Amazon KDP. So if this sounds interesting to you, feel free to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I release a new video. With that being said, let's get right to it. Now our first niche is gonna be the autumn word search. And the very first thing that you're going to see is this purple bar right here on my screen. And what it is a free extension that I got from Self-Publishing Titans called Titans Quick View. And it's free to use, so feel free to go ahead and download it. And so you can see the same information that I'm seeing. But basically, it gives me a lot of information, things like niche score, as well as the actual total results. And then the exact match of this keyword in the books that are on the first page. How many books are independently published, aka how many books are KDP books, as well as bestseller ranks, reviews, and the price. But the very first thing that I do when I'm looking into a niche is always the search results. And right here, we're seeing 218 search results. Now, when I'm trying to validate a niche and see if it's something that's potentially profitable, I like to look for 3 specific things. Number 1 are the search results. So I like to look for search results that have about 1,000 or less, because this is going to tell me that the competition is not so high. So there's a chance that a book that I make might be successful. Number 2, I like to look for 3 KDP books that all have a BSR or a bestsellers rank of 300,000 or below. And then number 3, I like to look for a niche score that's provided by the plugin that I'm using that has a score of at least 50 and higher. However, for these 4 specific niches, this validation process isn't really going to apply. And the reason being is because these books are not selling that well right now, but they will be selling a lot better once Q4 rolls in. So a lot of the niche validation that you see me do in previous videos is not really going to apply here, but I'm going to show you how potentially profitable these niche ideas are. And the time to make these books are right now during the summer, a few months before Q4 rolls in. So you can take advantage of the increased number of people that are going to be buying on Amazon and buying your books. So we can see for autumn word search that there's 218 search results, which is actually pretty good, meaning that there's not a lot of competition for this keyword. And likewise, you could use something like fall word search right here, which has 396 search results because the 2 terms are interchangeable. But if we go back to autumn word search, we're going to see that this has a niche score of 51 right now, which is actually pretty good because these types of books are not that popular this time of year. And so to have a niche score of above 50 is still very, very good. Now, if we go ahead and look at some of these books, now keep in mind, like I said, we're not going to be applying the same types of rules for these books right now because this is not the time of the year that these books sell. But let's go ahead and look at some of these books. So as you can see, here are some sponsored listings still right here. But even so that they're sponsored, they're still not selling that well. They're in the 1 million range, the 2 million range, the 3 million range. So these books are only selling maybe a few times a month right now. But then you have a couple books right here. So this one right here, this autumn word search, is ranking at 684,000. This book right here that was published in August of 2023 has a current rank of 472,000. So this book is still selling. And then you have this book right here that was published in 2023 that has a 410,000 ranking. And even better, this one right here has a ranking of 225,000. So if we take a look at this book right here, it has a current rank of 222,000, which is actually really good, especially because this is an autumn word search. And so this would sell a lot better during fall and not really during summer. As we can see that it has a 4.8 out of 5 rating. It It has 151 ratings overall, and it's priced at $7.99, which is actually pretty high for this type of book, but this price point still does work. And if we take a look at the inside, we can see that along with my previous video that these word searches are actually very simple. And so if you want to know how to make this type of book, go ahead and watch my previous video where I show you how to do this, exactly how to do this without using any paid tools. But let's go ahead and look at the historical ranking right here. As we can see, this is for the last 30 days and it's been hovering around 600,000. It does sell one time here on June 16, and then sells another time on June 17, and then it sold another time on June 24, which is today at the filming of this video. But if we go ahead and look backwards in time to see a little bit of the pattern, we can see for the last year, this is what it looks like. So right here, I want you to focus right here where the rankings drop, and where it started to drop was around July 16. Around mid-July. And you can see the ranking dropped even further. But right here around this time, around August and September, is the time where this book really sells well. So there's a good 3-month span right here where the book is selling pretty well. And if we go all time, we can see the same pattern. So when this book was published, you can see that it started to sell right away. And then around August and September, and even through October, this book sold very well. And then the rest of the year, it didn't really sell that well. So this is what you call a seasonal type of book, because it will sell the most at certain times of the year. As you can see here, this book is starting to form a pattern. Now, if we go ahead and take a look at this book right here, it has a current rank of 684,000, and it was released last year in September. And you can see that it has a 4.7 out of 5 rating. So that's really good. And if we look at the historical BSR, we're going to see a similar pattern. So this is for the past 30 days. So let's go ahead and zoom out here to when it was published. So we can see it was published last year in September of 2023, and it started selling right away. And then we can see that from September all the way to about November, that this book was selling very, very well. This was the hot part of the year for this book. And then after that, we can see the sales start tapering off. And this is what it looks like for the rest of the year. But I'm telling you right now that once fall season starts to roll in, you're going to see a similar pattern where this book will start to sell really, really well. And this is what you call a seasonal book. And then a little bit of A+ content right here. So this is the interior of the book, very similar to all the other word search books out there. There's a little bit of a trivia page that they've included, but all in all, very, very similar. And then if we look at this one right here, this was published 2021. So this will give us a few years of data to look through. And so if we just go straight to the graph here, this is for the past 30 days. So let's go back to a year and you can see the same pattern. So the book started to sell around July. You can see the ranking started to improve around July, and it really sold well in September all the way until mid-November. And then the rest of the year, this is what the ranking looks like. It doesn't really sell. And then if we go all time, we can see the same pattern. So when the book was first released back in 2021, we can see it was at the tail end of fall. And so it was still selling, but then you can see for the rest of the year, it just doesn't sell. And then around August, it sells really well up until the end of November. And then you can see the rankings just taper off. And then once again, it starts to sell really well around August, and then here September, October, up until November, and then the sales start to taper off. So we can see there is a definite pattern with these types of books. Now, the great thing about these niche ideas is that they're going to cover the entirety of Q4. And what I mean by that is that if you publish a book in each of these niches, then you're basically going to be covered from the end of summer all the way through January. Now, the next niche we have is the Halloween word search. And the first thing that you can see is that it has a niche score of 53, which is already pretty good, even though it's not even Halloween yet. And it has 407 results, so not very competitive. And if we do a scroll and look at some of these books, what we want to look for here are books that have some good reviews, and then dive deeper into the books to see the pattern of when they're selling and how much they're selling. So we can see here's one from 2023, has a bestsellers rank of 457,000. We have another one right here that's ranking it at 618,000. This one is in the 1 millions, another 1 million, and then this one right here is 291,000. If we go ahead and take a look at this Halloween word search right here, we can see it has a ranking of 301,000, and that is actually very, very good because we're not even into the Halloween months. You can see it's priced at $5.99 with 69 puzzles. And I'm not going to even show you the interior because it's all going to be pretty much the same as all of the word searches in all of these niches. But let's go ahead and look at this graph. So this is for the past 30 days. You can see it sells a couple right here. Anytime you see the line on the graph go down, that's at least one sale. So you can see for the past 30 days, it's sold a few times, which is actually pretty good. If we go back 90 days, you can see it sells a couple times. 6 months to a year, you can see this area right here where it sold very well. And if we look deeper into it, we can see that it was around July that it started to sell very well. So that's actually next month. And then where it actually sold even better was around the end of August. So from the end of August all the way to, I would say, the end of October, it sold very well, right? And this is where you're going to get the majority of your sales for this type of book. So if we go all time, we can see there's a similar pattern, right? So when it was published in September, you can see right away it was selling very well. And then the rest of the year, this is what it looks like. The sales are on and off. And then it does the same thing around the same time, around summer, the end of summer, into October, and all through October, it's going to sell very well. If we take a look at this book right here, this is ranking in at 457,000 right now. It has a lot of ratings, which is really good. Priced at $5.95. And let's go ahead and look at the historical BSR. So you can see it does sell every couple days. But if we go back 90 days, 6 months, just zoom out to a year, we can see this is all time, that when it was first published back in August of last year, that it just started to sell because it was just in the right timing. And then I would say from the start of September all through, let's say, November, mid-November, it sold very well. So that's a couple months right there where it sells very well. And with the lowest BSR in the 2000s, I see, which is at least a couple $1,000s per month in those 3 months. And then as you can see, it does still sell throughout the year, but very sporadically, not as consistent. And the rankings just go up and down. But I would not be surprised around September if the rankings look exactly or similar to this one right here. Creating these types of seasonal books is a really great way to fill in the gaps of your publishing library. So even if you're publishing mostly evergreen niche types of books, incorporating seasonal books is going to just help boost your sales in certain parts of the year, which is always a good thing. Now, the next niche we have is the winter word search. And so we can see here, first thing is the niche score of 51. It's already above the 50 that I'm looking for, so that's a good sign. And it has 385 results, so not too competitive. And if we take a scroll and look through some of these books, you're going to see they all look very similar. But there's already books that are selling right now. You see this book right here, 228,000 ranking. You know for a fact that this is selling right now. This book is selling 366,000. It might not be selling like hotcakes, but it's still selling even before winter comes. We have this book at 600,000, this book at 500,000, 900,000. So there's a lot of books here that are already selling, and it's not even Q4 yet. If we take a look at this book right here, this winter word search for adults, it's ranking in at 228,000. It has 4.6 out of 5 rating, 98 ratings, priced at $6.99. So that's all good. But let's go ahead and look at the historical sales ranking. So here's for 30 days. You can see it's selling a couple times in the month. If we go 90 days, 6 months to a year, and then all time, we can see that when it was first published back in October of last year, it already started to sell because it's already Q4. And people are getting ready to buy gifts for Christmas time. And so this is a great time to actually introduce your winter books, especially during the summer months. So Amazon has time to index your books. And so people have time to start buying it. And so your books can already establish a sales ranking ahead of holiday season. We can see the rankings improved until about the end of October, where the rankings just dropped right here from November all the way, I would say, through most of January. So this book had about a 3-month span where it was selling very, very well. And if we just take the average BSR in this 3-month span, which looks to be about 2,000, we're going to see that this book is making about $181 per day, or about $5,400 per month, every single month for those 3 months. So theoretically, this book could have been making this publisher about $15,000 just in Q4 alone. Now, if we look at this book right here, it's ranking it at 366,000. And if we go ahead and look at the BSR right here, we can see that it does sell a couple times a month. If we go to the past 90 days, same story, 6 months to a year. We can see the same pattern with all of these seasonal books, that around October time, all the way through, I would say, the end of January, it sells very, very well. And the best times is really around November up until right before Christmas time. And if we go back all time, we're going to see that pattern of selling really, really well in Q4, because we see here, it was published in November and then boom, just started to sell really, really well. And then after December, the sales started to taper off. And then you can see what happened the rest of the year. And then same kind of story around September, October, we see sales start to skyrocket all the way through the end of January, where the ranking just tapers off, where the pattern just starts to repeat itself. Now I'm going to say this again, this time right now is a perfect time to start producing these types of books ahead of Q4 of this year, because it's going to allow you to get your books on Amazon, allow Amazon to index your books, and even make a few sales to get some sales ranking, which is only going to help you heading into Q4. And the best part about this is that these books are all passive income, because once you get your books up on Amazon, they're going to sell your book, they're going to print your book, they're going to ship your book, and even deal with the returns for you, all while paying you commission for every book that's sold. And if your book starts to sell consistently, well, it could be selling day after day, month after month, year after year, for years down the road, and you don't even have to touch it ever again. Now, the last niche we have is the New Year's word search. And so this is a great way to sum up Q4. And so we can see it has a niche score of 54 and a search result of 532. So not very competitive. So let's go look through some of these books. We can see one right here that has a 657,000 rating. If we keep scrolling down, we see another one right here that has a 1 million rating, but it has 14 reviews and a 4.9 out of 5 stars. So that's actually really good. I expect this to sell a lot better during Q4. So if we go ahead and look at this one right here, it has a ranking of 657,000 right now. It was published on October 12th of 2023. It has a 4.7 out of 5 rating, 30 ratings overall. So a very, very good book. And it's priced at $7.99. So if we go ahead and look at the sales rank, we can see for the past 30 days, it's actually selling a couple times. And the past 90 days to 6 months to a year and all time, we can see that when it was published back in October, this book started to sell really, really well, basically at the start of November, where throughout November, December into January, and even parts of February, it was selling very, very well, about a 10,000 to 20,000 sales rank. And then you can see the sales start to taper off the rest of the year. But I would probably guess that around the same time this year, it would start to see something similar like this. Now, if you want to know how to make these types of word search books, feel free to watch my last video on exactly how I did that using only free tools and resources. So I'll leave the link down below, or you can click somewhere around the screen right now. Well, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, let me know down below. And if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you never miss a new video. With that being said, thanks for watching. Bye for now.